management is a crucial process for organization, and one of the key aspects is identifying candidates who not only possess the right skill but also have the right attitude. Today, we will focus on the challenge of screening candidates for their attitudes during interview session. What do we mean by attitude screening? Simply put, it's about assessing a candidate's mindset, approach, and how they fit into an organization culture. It involves everything how they react to challenges, work with teams, and communicate effectively. Now, let's define low reliability. In this context, it's referred to as consistency in measuring or predicting a candidate's attitude during interview. If an interview process is not designed properly, it may fail to accurately assess the candidate's attitude. Addressing this issue in recruitment is essential for several reasons. A candidate with the right attitude is more likely to contribute to a positive work environment, be adapted in challenging situations, and align with company value. Poor attitude assessment can lead to bad hires, decreased team morale, and ultimately higher turnover. One of the biggest challenges in attitude screening is a bias. Interviewers may unintentionally favor candidates who share similar value or background, leading to skewed assessment. This bias can impact the recruitment process, making it harder to identify candidates with the best attitude. To improve reliability in attitude screening, it is important to use structured interview technique and behavior bias questions that minimize bias. This method allows recruiters to assess a candidate's true attitude and predict their future behavior more accurately.
Have you been part of the interview panel and thought this candidate has a perfect attitude, but after a month, only to find out that they were not the right fit? Why does this happen? Screening for attitude during the interview might seem straightforward, but this is actually one of the trickiest parts of the hiring process. And the big reason for this is the hidden influence of bias. For your information, screening attitude is too subjective. For example, unlike a technical skill, which you can test and measure, but attitude is something intangible. It's influenced by how someone speaks, their body language, or even their confidence level. But here's the problem, which attitude are often judged subjectively, which means the result can vary greatly depending on who is conducting the interview. Now, let's talk about the main issue, which is a bias, one of the biggest challenges when screening for attitude. Bias are the mental shortcut of our brain ticks, often without us realizing it. For example, first impression bias, which is happen when we decide within the first few seconds if a candidate is likable, and the decision will stay throughout the interview. Another comment is halo effect. The halo effect is a type of cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person will be influenced on how we perceive their specific trait, even if those traits are unrelated. This is when we see one positive trait like confidence or good communication, and we will assume that the candidate is a great overall, even their answers are not the strongest. This effect becomes problematic because it can mask weaknesses. A candidate who is charismatic might not have a technical skill or relevant experience for the job, but the positive impression that it creates influences the interview overall judgment, leading to the unbalanced evaluation. Bias can also stem from things like shared interests or cultural background. If the interviewer feels that they have something in common with the candidates, they might rate them higher even if that similarity has nothing to do with the job. And the opposite is also true. A candidate might get a lower score just because they doesn't fit the interviewer's personal expectation. So why does this matter? This bias influences on how we evaluate the attitude. It leads to the inconsistent result. What might seem like the perfect hire to one interviewer could seem completely different to another. And this is just not about picking the wrong person, but also it means we miss out the great talent because our judgment are influenced by the factor that don't actually reflect to someone's potential.
Hi everyone! Did you know that the key to successful interview isn't just about asking questions? It is about asking the right question. Today, we have dividing into behavior-based question and situational interview question, and how they can supercharge the reliability of the hiring process. First, what is behavior-based question? Behavior-based question is a question that we ask the candidates to describe how they handle a real-life situation in the past. Example for behavior-based question is like, tell me about a time you handled a tough challenges. It focuses on the past experience. Why, you ask? Because how someone handled the situation in the past is one of the best predictors of how they act in the future. And then we have a situational question. It's a hypothetical scenario where you ask a candidate, what would you do if? This helps access into critical thinking and problem-solving skills, giving us the insight on how they can think on their own. But how do we evaluate their answer objectively? One of the methods that we use is the STAR method. What is STAR? STAR stands for situation, task, action, and results. Here how it works. Firstly, we ask the candidate to describe the situation they face. Next, clarify the task they need to complete. Focus on the action they took. And lastly, don't forget the result on what impact the effort have. Now, here is an example of the candidate answer that have the STAR technique. In my last role, we faced a tight deadline in a product launch. My job was to streamline communication across department, and I created a shared timeline and held a daily checkup, which led to a product launching on time and a 15% increase on sales. And that is the STAR technique answer. So, whether you're hiring your next talent or superstar, or trying to improve your interviewing skill, remember this: the question you ask matter just as much as the answer you get.
Recruiting should not only focus on skill set and relevant experience, as it requires attention to attitude as well. But the question is, how do you effectively assess this during an interview process? Interviews are not always effective in assessing the candidate's character, emotional intelligence, and attitude. That is where psychometric assessment comes in. Psychometric tools such as SPID-5, MBTI, and DISC are intended to support interview by evaluating aspects that are hard to measure otherwise. MBTI, which stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. The BIG5 stands for openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. DISC stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. Psychometric testing is a structured way of evaluating aspects like personality traits, skills, and aptitude. It indeed equips the HR manager with more information than just the resume and interview of the candidates. By using these tools, the hiring managers may be able to understand strengths and weaknesses, reduce biases, and recruit a more diverse workforce. For illustration, for the BIG5, there is the trait of agreeableness and emotional stability that the candidate possesses, among others, which gives a comprehensive pictures of one personality. The 16 personalities test explore into decision-making process and stress management, predicting how the candidates handles workplace challenges. With psychometric tools, it helps company to look through first impressions and interviews to identify candidate with the right attitude that the company needs.
To better understand the impact of improving attitude screening, let's compare traditional interview methods with the proposed solutions. Traditional methods often focus on skills and qualifications, but they overlook the crucial aspect of attitude, which can be key to a candidate's success within the company. Traditional interviews often rely on subjective judgments, and interviewers may be influenced by their own biases or first impressions. As a result, they may overlook important qualities like a candidate's attitude. In contrast, structured interviews techniques like behavioral or situational questions focus on how candidates react in specific scenarios, providing more reliable insight into their attitudes. Improving the reliability of attitude screening brings significant benefit. First, it helps identify candidates who are not only skilled but also a good fit for the company's culture. This alignment leads to better teamwork, higher job satisfaction, and ultimately better job performance. Furthermore, a reliable screening process reduces turnover rates, saving companies' time and resources. By embracing these improvements, companies can foster a work environment with motivated, aligned, and high-performing individuals. Let's revolutionize our hiring practice to make better decisions and build stronger teams.
Attitude screening means assessing how a candidate approach work, handles challenges, and fits into your company culture. Low reliability happens when our assessments are inconsistent, often due to bias. Why is this crucial? The right attitude leads to better collaboration, problem solving, and a positive work environment. But without reliable methods, hiring the wrong candidate can hurt team morale and increase turnover. By improving how we assess attitude, we can build teams that are more collaborative, motivated, and aligned with company's value. A reliable screening process helps ensure we choose the best fit for long-term success. To minimize bias, I encourage companies to adopt structured interview, use psychometric tools, and invest in interviewer training. This step create a fair process and lead to better hiring decisions. Let's improve talent management by making recruitment more objective and reliable. Thanks for watching, and start refining your interview process today.